Hi guys. So now we start a very important topic. This topic is the core or fundamental of learning finance. Uh, and being very honest, no one can even think of becoming a CFA or no one can even study CFA without understanding the basics of this topic. So we are going to learn the most basic and the most fundamental concept of your CFA or the entire finance, which is time value of money. So we are learning the most basic or the most fundamental concept, time value of money. Again, this chapter is also part of the subject quantitative methods, the chapter 2 of quantitative methods. But again, before even you start CFA, you should know basics of TVM. You start any subject, you start with equity, you start with cons, you start with corporate resource or any subject. Before even starting a subject, you should know how to use calculator, you should know TVM. It's a very basic concept, very important concept. Now, what is time value of money? Can any one of you tell me what do you understand by the term time value of money? So, let's understand this concept. The concept of time value of money says the value of money is never constant. The concept of time value of money says that value of money is never constant. The value of money always keeps on changing. Let me help you by taking a simple example. Let's say I have a 100 rupee note today. If I have a 100 rupee note today, I have two options. One option is I invest that 100 rupees. If I have 100 rupees note today, one option I have is I invest that 100 rupees. Now, if I invest that 100 rupees, what would happen? This 100 rupees would increase in value. Let's say this 100 will become maybe 110. This 100 may become 110. So if I invest, what would happen? My value of money will increase. So let's take an example. Maybe this 100 will become 110. Or the other, if I'm investing it, my value of money will increase. Or the other option is I don't invest, I keep it as it is. The other option I have is I don't invest, I keep it as it is. I basically keep it as it is. Now, if I'm keeping my money as it is, what would happen? My 100 rupees will not actually increase in value. My 100 rupees will still be 100 rupees. In a nominal term, if I just have 100 rupees, I keep it in my wallet, I again open my wallet after a year, it will still be 100 rupees. But there is something known as inflation. Now, what is inflation? It is increase in the prices of goods and services. Nominal, when an economy is growing, you would see the prices of goods and service always keeps on increasing. Let's take an example. A vada pav, a snacks based out of Mumbai, India. I remember when I was a student, it used to cost 5 rupees. So now it costs 20 rupees. So if you have 100 rupee note, you go to a vendor, he will give you, let's say at 20 rupees, he will give you 5 vada pavs. I go after 1 year, he will change the price to 25. So I take the 100 rupees to him, he only give me 4 vada pavs. So do you observe, I'm still giving him the same 100 rupee note, but I'm getting 1 vada pav less. So whenever there's an inflation, whenever there's an increase in the prices of goods and services, your purchasing power or your value of money goes down. Whenever there's an inflation, the purchasing power or the value of money goes down. So the 100 rupee note will still be 100 rupees. But when I talk about in purchasing power and when I talk about the value terms, the value will go down. So 100 rupees, in nominal terms, it will be 100. But if I adjust the inflation, it may be, let's say, 80, 90 rupees. So that is why it is very important as an investor, the inflation in India, it is around 6 to 7%. You should always aim to earn a return at least higher than inflation. Because if you are not earning a return higher than the inflation, you are actually losing the purchasing power of money. So this is a little bit about inflation, but coming back to the concept time value of money, it says the value of money is never constant, it keeps changing. So if you invest it, your value of money will increase. If you don't invest it, if you keep your money as it is, your value of money will basically go down. Your value of money will basically go down. So this is what the concept This is what the concept of TVM, basic concepts of TVM says. Now there are few terminologies that you should be knowing in the concept of TVM. There is something known as a PV, something known as FV. Now what is this? PV stands for present value. PV stands for present value. What is present value? The amount of money that you have today. The amount of money that you have today is a present value. What is PV? The amount of money that you have today is a present value. FV stands for future value. FV stands for future value. Now what is this future value? This is the amount of money that you will have in the future. This is the amount of money that you don't have now. This is the amount of money that you will have in the future. That is basically your future value. So PV stands for present value. This is the amount of money that you will have today. In today's term, what is the money that you have? That's a present value. FV stands for future value. This is the amount of money that you will have in the future. This is the amount of money basically that you will have in the future. So if I invest 10 lakh rupees today, it is present value. I want 1 crore after 10 years. I need 1 crore after 10 years. This is future value. In today's term, PV, in future, FV. And always remember, PV and FV are one time. If there is recurring, there is something known as a PMT, which you will learn it later. Then there is something known as a N, which is number of compounding periods. For how much time period you are investing money. Number of compounding periods basically means for how much time period you are investing your money. And then there's something known as the I by Y. It is your interest rate. At what rate you are investing money. It is known as the interest rate or discount rate. I by Y is basically your interest rate or basically your discount rate. At what rate? At what rate basically you are investing money. That is known as your interest rate. Now, I hope everyone got an understanding. PV present value, FV future value, N is the number of compounding periods. Then your I by Y, it is your interest rate or basically your discount rate. This is a basic understanding. So make a note of it in case if you want to. You can make a note of it. There's something known as compounding. And something known as a discounting. Now what is compounding? What is discounting? So compounding is, you know the present value. You know the present value. You are trying to find out. Compounding. So compound interest. Earning interest on interest. You know what is the value today. You know what is the value today. You are trying to estimate what will be the value in future. What will be the value in future. So what is compounding? You know what is the value today. You are trying to estimate what will be the value in future. That's a compounding. And discounting is a complete opposite of it. Discounting, you know what is the value needed in future. So you know the future value. You are trying to find out present value. So what exactly is a discounting? You know what will be the value in future. You know what will be the value in future and you are trying to estimate what will be the value today. So you know what is the value in future and you are trying to know what will be the value today. So that is discounting. So if I need 1 crore after 10 years, how much I need to invest today? So if I discount it, I'll get today's value. I know, little confusing for a lot of you. So if I want to summarize, this is how I'll summarize it. You have PV, you have FV. If you go from PV to FV, you know the present value, you are going to future value. that I will call it as compounding. That is something I'll call it as a compounding. And if I have the future value, I'm trying to find today's value, I call it as discounting. So PV से FV is compounding. प्रेजेंट वैल्यू पता है फ्यूचर की निकाल रहे हो तो उसको मैं कंपाउंडिंग करूंगा. फ्यूचर पता है मैं पीवी निकालूंगा तो उसको मैं डिस्काउंटिंग बोलूंगा. आई एम श्योर मोस्ट ऑफ यू आर comfortable with it. So quickly summarizing what we have done: TVM, value of money always keeps changing. It's not constant. If you invest, it grows. If you keep it as it is, it reduces the purchasing power. We learn this basic terms of PV, TVM, PV, FV, NN, I by Y. We discuss few terminologies: compounding and discounting. Compounding is you know the present value, you're trying to find out the future value. That is compounding. What is discounting? You know the future value. You know what will be the value in future. You're trying to find today's value. You're basically trying to find out what will be the value in future. This is what, in case if anyone wants to make a note, PV to FE is compounding, FE to PV is discounting. It's a very basic concept. When I do stock valuation, I actually look at what is the cash flow a company is going to make. I discount it. I find out the PV and then I try to see what should be the ideal valuation of company. So I use this concept. So TVM is something very widely used concepts in the financial services space. Please make a note of it if you want. I hope every one of you understood it and is comfortable with this. So let's move ahead. Now, one very important thing, whenever you use a financial calculator like your Texas BA 2 Plus, or whenever you use the Microsoft Excel, the calculator or Excel does not understand is the money coming in or is the money going out. So if I like 1 lakh rupees, the calculator does not have an understanding is this money you are investing or is this the money that you're getting. So to differentiate, we follow one convention. Always remember, to differentiate between inflow and outflow, we follow a convention. Whenever there is a cash inflow, what is a cash inflow? Money is coming into your pocket. We always take it as a positive. We take it as positive. This does not mean profit loss. This does mean money is coming in. Whenever there is a cash outflow, by cash outflow basically means money is going out from your pocket, we take it as negative. So whenever there is a cash inflow, money is coming into your pocket, we take it as positive. We always take it as positive. Whenever there's a cash outflow, whenever money is going out from your pocket, we take it as negative. This is just one convention that we follow in TVM, so that your calculator or Excel does not get confused between what is inflow and outflow. Cash outflow, money going out from your pocket, we take it negative. Cash inflow, money coming into your pocket, we take it as positive. So I please request to make a note of this. Please do make a note of this. I hope it's done. So let's start a basic TVM problem. We'll solve 5-6 basic examples of TVM. So let's say I have 1 lakh rupees, I am investing it. So if I'm investing it, I have to make it negative. Let's say I'm investing for 10 years at the rate of 12%. I need to find out what will be the future value. So I have 1 lakh rupees, I'm investing it 12%. For the next 10 years, I need to find out what would be the future value. So how do I do it? So I open your calculator. I'm sure most of you, before watching the video, you have learned the video on how to use calculator. So these terms that you have, N, I by Y, PV, PMTF, this third row is a TVM row. And I assure you, this row you are going to use thousands of time throughout your CFA. This row you are going to use thousands of your time throughout your CFA. So let's learn it carefully. So N is 10 years. So how I will use it? First, have a habit of clicking the value, then the TVM function. First, always have value. So my value is 10. So first click on 10, then click on n. It is little different function. So first click on 10, then click on n. What is your I by y? 12%. We will just write 12 because calculator understand interest rate as always percentage. So first click on 12, then click on I by y. So automatically what would happen? I by y becomes 12. What is PV? 1 lakh rupees. So I first write 1 lakh. You are investing it, correct? So it is negative. 1 lakh negative does not mean loss. It just means that you're investing. So how do you make it negative? Can you see this plus minus button in the bottom? The plus minus button in the bottom. So use that. Use that. So automatically your F1 lakh becomes negative. So once you put 1 lakh, I'll repeat it again. Once you put 1 lakh, the bottom plus minus button, reset. Click on that, it will become negative. You don't have to use that minus, you have to use this minus. So click on 1 lakh and make it negative. So your PV becomes minus 1 lakh rupees. What is PMT? Sir, we have not learned. So we don't know as of now. So make it 0. You need to find out future value. So to calculate future value, you would see a function compute. You will see a function compute. Click on compute and FV. Click on compute and FV. So your future value is 3,10,584. So that means your value becomes 3.1 lakh. So if you invest 1 lakh rupees today for next 10 years, your value would become close to 3,10,584. I'll quickly repeat. A lot of you may be little stuck. Don't worry. You're using it for the first time. You may make mistake. That's okay. Spend some time once you solve 3-4 example. This is an easy function. Don't worry. So how I'll do it? First, n is 10. So first I'll click on 10 and then I click on n. I click on 10. I click on n. So automatically what would happen? N equals to 10. Then what is interest rate is 12. So I click on 12, I click on I by y. So what happens? I by y becomes 12. What is my PV? 1 lakh. So I make it 1 lakh. Using this plus minus, I make it negative. PV. PMT, sir, we don't know. Make it 0. Click on compute and FV. You get 3,10,584. Easy? Very easy. This is easy. If anyone wants to make a note, here you go. I'll wait for a minute. It's an easy function. So done. Now always remember that whenever you start a new sum, always remember, have a habit of clearing data of previous sum. Because what will happen if you don't clear the data of previous sum, if there's already a data and आपने उसको overwrite नहीं किया, you may make some mistakes. So always have a habit when you start a new TVM problem, always clear the memory. How do you clear memory? There would be a function clear TVM. Now if you want to activate clear TVM, it is about FV. How will I activate it? If you could recall from how to use calculator video, I'll click on the second and FV. Click on second and FV, you would see the entire data is cleared. Your entire data is clear. So whenever you start a new problem, before starting a new problem in TVM, always have a habit of clicking on second and FV. Always have a habit of clicking second and FV so that the memory gets erased. Whenever you start a new problem, always have a habit of clicking second and FV so that the data gets erased. आपका जो data होगा, it will get erased. Let's start one more example. Let's say you need 25 lakhs after 20 years. After 20 years, n is 20. You need 25 lakhs. Assuming you are able to earn 8% return. You are able to earn 8% return, which is very easily you can earn it. You need to find out present value. Will you try this sum? I'll wait for a minute. Please try this sum. And let's see how many of us can do it. So let's do it. So second FA, I'll clear the memory. What is N is 20, correct? So I click on 20 and then I click on N. So automatically what will happen? N will become equals to 20. What is my I by Y? It is equal to 8%, correct? So I click on 8, I click on I by Y. So automatically my I by Y becomes 8%. What is my FV? 25 lakh rupees. So I click 25. I need it. It's a positive. I need that money. So at 25 lakh, I keep it. I take the future value as 25 lakh rupees. PMT, either skip it as it is or make it 0. Then you click on compute. Compute is calculate and you click PV. So you get 5 lakh 36,000. So that means your PV is 5.36 lakh. So if you need 25 lakh rupees, after 20 years, you need to invest 5.3 lakh rupees today. Did every one of you understood it? Easy? How many of you got it right? I think you should appreciate yourself. The second sum itself, you got it right. If not, no worries. With the video, solve the examples, solve more examples at home. You would get comfortable. You don't need to worry. Let's solve one more example. If anyone wants to make this note. So if you invest 5.36 lakhs at 8% for 20 years, that will become 25 lakh rupees. That's the power of compounding. And 8% is an easily, you get almost some of the banks also gives you 8%, new age banks as a fixed deposit rate. 8% is a very doable number. And if you invest in mutual funds, if you invest in equity market, some pot of money, you can expect 10 to 12% return easily. Make a note if you want to, otherwise I'll change the slide. Now let's go one step ahead. Let's take an example. N is 20. You are invested for 20 years. You have invested 20 lakh rupees and you are going to receive 45 lakh rupees after 20 years. So can you tell me how much interest you want? So I want you to try it first and then I'll do it. I'll wait for a minute. PV 20, FV 45, N 20, I by Y is this. So I'll write down N is 20, PV 20 lakhs, FV 45 lakhs. I need to find out I by Y. Please solve it. I'll wait for a minute for everyone to solve this. How many of you are getting error? Some of you are getting error and telling, sir, calculator would have some challenge. Please tell me. How many of you are getting error? Guys, you forgot the most basic thing. You are investing 20 lakhs. Correct? So it has to be negative because otherwise your calculator will not understand what is positive, what is negative. Correct? So this 20 lakhs needs to be negative. That is very important. A lot of you have forgotten because मैंने नहीं लिखा तो आप भी भूल गए. You are investing 20 lakhs. So it has to be negative. If you don't take it negative, your calculator will not understand. Is it positive? Is it negative? What exactly is it? So it is negative. It is negative. You have to not make that mistake. So if you could recall cash outflow you are investing, it needs to be negative. So a lot of you end up making that mistakes. I already knew about it. So how I will do it? N is 20 years. I'm investing for how much period? I'm investing for 20 years. So click on 20, click on N. So automatically what will happen? N equals to 20. PV is 20 lakhs. I'm investing 20 lakh rupees. Correct? I'm investing 20 lakhs. So 20 lakhs. You make it negative. You make it negative and click on present value. 20 lakhs, make it negative and click on present value. FV is 45 lakhs. So 45, click on future value. PMT we have not discussed yet, 0. Click on compute I by Y. Compute I by Y, so you are earning 4%. So on an average, you are earning 4%. So I'm sure most of you are very comfortable with the basic TVM. Go use more calculator, do more basic variants of TVM. You can also get additional sums to us. Practice few basic examples. This is just the basic TVM that we have discussed. In the quantitative methods, we are going to learn an advanced TVM as a concept. But this is a basic TVM when you're starting. This is something you should at least know. NPV FV I by Y. So I hope you enjoyed this video. So thank you so much, guys.